The Lake Forest Podcast is supported by viewers, listeners, and businesses just like you. Michelle Parno has lived and worked in Lake Forest for over 2 decades. Michelle's lending experience, when combined with her real estate expertise, makes her an invaluable asset to her clients as they navigate their home buying or selling process. Call Michelle now at 847-528-8721, 847-528-8721. For the best cannabis in the world, look no further than Iliad Epic Grow. Owned by Lake Bluff's own Rich Ruzich, they are a cannabis cultivation center focusing on hard-to-find small batch products that will delight both the occasional user and ganjier. When visiting Michigan, ask for it by name. Epic Products, exceptional process. For more information, email info@iliadgrow.com. Laracy & Company CPAs, founded in 2010 by Lake Forest's own Brian Laracy, specializes in tax preparation and bookkeeping services. Earning the People Love Us on Yelp award, their process is straightforward. Just upload, review, and file. For a free quote, visit LaracyCPA.com now. That's LARISEYCPA.com. I'm excited to share with you something special from our Lake Forest community, the Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa, located at 775 North Bank Lane in Lake Forest near Wisconsin Avenue. This just isn't any spa. They offer an amazing blend of traditional spa services plus the added benefit of medical procedures and treatments. In a relaxing and luxurious spa environment, you can enjoy a range of cosmetic and aesthetic treatments. These are all performed under the supervision of top medical professionals. The Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa provides skin care, facial rejuvenation, body contouring, laser hair removal, Botox, dermal fillers, chemical peels, and much more. What's great is that each treatment is tailored not just to enhance your appearance, but also to address specific skin concerns and to promote overall well-being. So if you're looking to pamper yourself and take your beauty routine to the next level, give the Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa a call at 224-768-8028 or visit them at their location on North Bank Lane. It's an experience your skin will thank you for. We'd also like to say we're thankful for our Patreon supporters, Otto, John C., Helen, Herrick, JM, and Paul G.
Good morning.
Greetings.
Are we waiting for others?
You know the premise of the show, man.
Well, I know, but, it's kind of like, I feel like it's like back when they sold bleacher tickets at Wrigley the morning of the game. I got to get here early because people say, why are you always late to the show? I'm like, I'm not late. He starts early. So I got to log in like an hour before the recording time to just wait. It's like when you get the tickets on Ticketmaster, I'm logged in all ready to go.
Pre-sale, yeah. Morgan Wallen today, 10 a.m.
Ooh. I like Morgan Wallen.
Yeah, I saw him at where's it, Camp Randall?
Chairs in Nashville don't like Morgan Wallen, but that's another issue. But
chairs like just people on Broadway.
No, chair.
No, I know.
Right through the chair.
On Broadway, yeah.
I loved how I walked off the set of Saturday Night Live as soon as the show was over that time. He's like, I'm not staying for your party.
Morgan who?
Come on, Pete.
Pete, are you a communist?
This is like...
Did you vote? Did you fly to New York and vote for Mondami?
What is happening?
Oh, Jeff.
Did he just say Morgan who?
Morgan, who are you talking about?
Morgan Wallen is like the biggest. Would you say he's the biggest act in country music
Are you
today,
in
Jeff?
music? Don't you do you play music?
He's just
don't
playing.
Know who Morgan Wallen is? That's like me
idea.
saying I like sports and I don't know who Michael Jordan is. Like what?
I wouldn't say he's Michael Jordan.
Fine, he's LeBron.
I wouldn't. Well, no, that's insulting.
I knew country 30 years ago. It's not even called country anymore. It's
Toby Keith?
Pop or whatever.
It's awesome now. Are you trying to say how great it is now? I mean, Post Malone switched from rapping to country last year. I mean,
hey, did you know last week was the first week since 1990 that there was no rap song on the Billboard? I don't know what number chart it is, but
I don't know. I like chart. Rap. I listen to. I grew up on.
I do too, but apparently there's no like specific.
Well, that's because everyone's in
artist.
Country. Like Big X, the plug is he did a whole album with different country singers on each song. I don't know if you guys know who Big X the plug is, but
no, I don't. Who is it, Jeff? Clue in our listeners.
I got it. Okay,
Pete, that's a very bright shirt you have on. It's hurting my eyes.
Oh,
I'm gonna
Let's
get
talk
my
about Lucia
sunglasses.
Ball and what's her husband, Richie, whatever.
put
I
your
love Lucy.
bifocals on.
Desi,
Desi. We could talk about I Love Lucy or
you
something.
got some splaining to do. Before we get, if we're waiting for
Whatever
other guests,
pop culture
Jeff,
you're into, I guess.
Jeff, I got to ask you, what's the deal with the thin crust Detroit style?
It's so I used to do it a while ago. We paused it for a bit because honestly we couldn't keep up because we only had a certain amount of pans for it. So now we just brought it back. It's the exact same thing as Detroit, just half the dough. It's thin, half the carbs. It's Detroit diet pizza.
You know how
So check
people
that out.
like the edges of brownies? Do you think you can make that in like its own like individual square so everybody's got a hard crusty edge?
On brownies, yeah, I can
No,
see.
I'm saying on the Detroit style.
Well, you get a 10 inch. You do a 10 inch, and it's only cut in four, and then every corner is perfect.
That's
That's
what I'm saying is so 2 inch by 2 inch or something.
no. A lot of people order the 10 inch for the reason you're saying. The 14 inch, you'll get like more of a sleeve of pizza, but the 10 inch, every piece has an L, like a crusted edge L. So it's a thing. You got to try it though. Get the Detroit thin crust. It'll change your life.
I ordered it over the weekend. What's the
It's
difference between that?
impossible. We just launched it. There's no way.
No, well, hold on. What is the Bluffington crust?
The bluff crust. There's
Bluff
no.
crust.
Yeah, that's our version of Chicago style deep dish.
That seems like Detroit style, just not cooked as much.
It's cooked in a square pan. So it's different. It's
Isn't it like a hybrid of Chicago and Detroit?
kinda, yeah. I mean, Chicago's for tourists. Everybody knows that. Like the big round thing, like that, the fork and knife, that's a tourist
The
pizza.
real Chicago style pizza is the
Have,
tavern.
yeah, yeah. But so we kind of like on our so we get a lot of Navy over here. So we wanted to do something cool and unique. So we did our bluff cross and they love
Thank you
it.
for your service,
Yep.
young men and women of the Navy.
Yep. So
Yeah,
it's a
when do they all come out? Obviously, they get off the train and they pop out. Is there?
no, they come with their parents mostly. It's a
Yeah.
graduation, like Thursdays, Fridays, they're always out.
Yeah, because there's a graduation, like, is it a graduation? What do they call it? Every Friday?
Yeah, every Friday,
Um,
but Thursday night they go out with their parents right before graduation.
sure.
They got to get back by like 8 or 9 o'clock, I think. So, Thursday nights we get a ton of Navy. We get two types of Navy. We get that type of Navy, which is like young kids with their families. And then we get like the Navy personnel that's always on the base that does a lot of the training. Those guys
Yeah, I
are,
don't know if people realize this. Every single person in the United States Navy goes through North Chicago
yep, it's the only
as
one
their
left.
training. It's the only one left. So every single U.S. sailor in the country comes here.
Zach Bryan went down the street. I don't know if Pete knows who Zach Bryan is.
Zach Brown? That's where I
Oh
cut
my
off.
God. What is happening?
Zachary Taylor. He knows who Zachary Taylor is.
I don't know who Zach Bryan.
President of the United States before Abe
Ugh.
Lincoln.
You like all this pop stuff. It's not
Pop-
country, it's
this is-
pop.
You kids get off my lawn.
You're aging yourself on the show today, buddy.
Okay.
No, I back to the Navy. I remember one time it was in the Walmart next to Big Ed's up in Waukegan, and there was this very young sailor and his mom shopping for stuff, and she's like, "You're gonna need this, and you're gonna need that," and this kid's like, "Mom, we can't have any of that stuff and all that." And it just was very touching to see. I mean, these guys were this kid was younger than my son, and
Yeah,
here he is. Serving our country, and his poor mom is, obviously worried about her son, as I would be as a parent, just their safety and everything. So it was just very touching to see. So I'm always, whenever I see someone in uniform at Duffers or any of our other fine establishments, I try to go over and just say, "Hey, thank you for your service."
yeah. No, it's a big deal, these kids. So yeah, and then like I said, the older, not older, but they're in their 20s usually and 30s. The Navy instructors, if you will, are always around. So it's always
And I say it to the parents too, thank you, because they're giving up their kid, and sadly sometimes they don't come home, unfortunately. So Yeah,
Sadly, they don't come home because they fall into the lake up there. Is that still going on?
that happened like what, twice,
What are you
once? I mean,
talking
once
about, man? They're
once is
talking
one
there's
too
like
many. I don't know.
there's a serial. We're talking about there's a serial.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I see what you're talking about. I'm sorry. I was thinking you were it was like a training exercise, but no, yeah, there was like a series of crimes in Lake County and Cook County. Um, we haven't heard about it lately. I'm sure Eric
I think
Reinhardt's
that was
right on. I'm sure
talking about.
I'm sure Eric
They
Reinhardt
left
is so
Genesee
tough on
Street.
crime that he's right on it
Yeah, someone left
when he's
Genesee
not
Street.
protesting ICE enforcement.
What'd you say, Jeff?
I think the instance you're talking about, someone left Genesee Street and then something happened in the lake. So I don't know if the details of that circumstance.
Yeah, and then
There's more.
something happened downtown Chicago too, similar to that, I think.
I think it was, yeah, okay, maybe.
There's a bunch of them. That's all. Just throwing it out there. Not sure why it's not getting any attention, but anywho,
I I think it's because it hasn't happened lately. That's why. If it has to bleed to lead, you know that.
uh, or it's just not being reported.
What about
I
the
don't know.
Bears? Did you guys watch that game?
They
That
really
was,
wanted to give it away.
hey, listen, how
Listening,
about being lucky over good any day of the week, right? I mean, come on.
the other team wanted to lose it more than the Bears did.
Yeah,
Should I buy Super Bowl tickets, Jeff?
no, don't do. But it was fun to watch. I mean, hey, listen, that was a back and forth. That was a fun game to watch. It was whatever. The Bears are 5-3. Like, I don't know. I don't even know how that happened. It's ridiculous.
Playoffs? Are you talking playoffs?
It's too bad that they're in the best division in football.
I know they'll probably make. I mean, unless they totally implode, which don't put it past them, they probably will make the playoffs.
I don't know. You
And
don't think Green Bay and Detroit and Minnesota.
well, I don't know. We'll see. Like I said,
A lot,
that old Jim
a
Mora
lot of
line:
games ahead of us,
playoffs? Are
Joe.
you talking
We should
playoffs?
enjoy this moment, though. You
Yeah,
know,
absolutely. I mean, but this is the 40th anniversary of the Bears, the '85 Bears. I know you were not old. You're not old enough to remember that, Jeff. But
I
Pete
was
and I,
alive. I was alive. Yeah.
I was at the game.
Yeah, man.
But
Yeah, man.
the that was, I mean, once you
Miami.
go through,
Oh, New
it's like
Orleans.
the
Right?
Bulls. Everyone is a buzz right now about the Bulls, and they had a great win last night, Tuesday night. And so far so good. But the '90s Bulls will, until you win six titles like the '90s Bulls did, wake me up. And NBA ratings are way, way down. Did you see the
I
Were they
game
up?
seven of the World Series did 50% had 50% more viewers than game seven of the NBA Finals.
There was a game seven NBA Finals.
Yeah, I know.
I watch college basketball.
Oklahoma won. Oklahoma City.
March Madness is probably one of it is the best thing in sports.
Yes. Yes,
Love
absolutely.
basketball.
I love those first 2 days where there's basketball all day starting like
Even
at
though
10 in the
everyone got
morning.
arrested for betting last week, I think we all knew one threes ruined NBA, like too many threes. It just became boring. And then two, you, NBA, it is kind of like those injuries being like flopped. Anytime there's a sport with flopping, I can't do it.
Yeah, but college basketball, I love March Madness too, and then we'll get
Oh, it's the
started here
best.
since it's 9:30 now. But
Show us so.
college basketball better be careful though, because all this NIL, if you start getting into where every team, where you get guys playing four different schools in 4 years, that's going to water down the fan base because it's going to be basically become a minor league for the NBA.
That won't happen because they could go in the NBA after 1 year, where
Right.
football.
Well, I just saying, I think this whole NIL thing, I get it. I understand the
Yeah,
money,
they should. You should do a one move rule.
but the long term effect to both college football and college basketball, they better be careful because people root for their schools. And if these guys are going to different teams all the time, instead of playing at a school, then that in the long run, I think will water down the product. But that's my 2 cents on
I
sports
mean, it
today.
kind of happens in high school. I mean, when I was young, like the Catholic schools, like a good
Yeah,
football.
they were heavy on recruiting. And some of the public
Yeah,
schools get.
you're Mount
How
Carmel.
did Jalen Brunson play at Stevenson? I still don't know that one.
Well, there's a
Did his
lot of
family just happen to
well,
live there truly, or
there's
was there
actually
some
people that drive
recruiting there?
around. There's a group of people, and I know Lake Forest has it too. But they inspect to make sure that people are using the addresses they say that they're living in.
I mean, if he lived there, he lived there, yeah, or his
Yeah, yeah.
parents
So
lived there.
that's I mean that
But
happens. That
sometimes you get into
happens.
these situations where schools are recruiting and they pay for them to move there and all sorts of crazy stuff like that.
It's
So I don't
Texas
know.
Friday night football night, guys.
All right. Well,
What
it's
else?
9:35 by my watch.
Yep. What do you got? You got something coming up.
Fire?
I don't know.
Do you smell a fire? I don't, but
Yeah, we missed you last week. That was a
yeah,
pretty.
sorry, I couldn't be here. I wish I could have. I can't do this every single week. The work and family thing gets in the way sometimes
I thought
of my
last
true podcast fun.
I thought last week was okay. I mean, it was
Look, it's an important topic, and
right.
people feel very passionate about it, as they should. Fire safety is one of the most important obligations of municipal government. I've said that from day one, that police, fire, and public works are the three bases of what everyone expects when they pay their taxes. So
Great point.
absolutely, and we have a first-class fire department. We have great firefighters here, men and women. I grew up with some people that became firefighters. I've gotten to know a couple of the firefighters here in the city. They
Great. What did they say
Cup.
about last week's show?
Oh, they had some comments that didn't agree with what the union is telling your guest, Amy, um, that the union doesn't necessarily speak for every single firefighter there. Now, obviously, if they're
Are the
if
facts
if
right? That's all I want to know. Are we short-staffed? Yes
no
or no?
no we're not short staffed 7 to 8. The challenge we have right now is the overtime. Okay, there is, by the city's own admission, if I'm sure you FOIA'd Jason's email to Amy. Um, Jason wrote that yes, we agree there's too much overtime, and if you look at the reasons for it, it's because when they hire someone, they can't put them to work right away because they have to train them. And the reason, Pete, for that is because there are solutions to that, but it's my understanding, and I've actually heard this not from the city, but I've heard this from some of the rank and file firefighters, is there are the solutions that the city's offering, the union doesn't want. Okay. The number one issue that the city has with this is that the list that they are contractually obligated under the current contract, which ends next year, and they're going to start to negotiate, which is why the union is pushing this agenda out there. Um, the current contract says you have to go off of this list. Well, this list includes people that are not fully qualified. Okay, because you have to be qualified as a firefighter and a paramedic. So they have to then hire people off of a list who then need training, and so they're not ready to work on day one. Okay, so you have, even though you are filling positions, you aren't. Okay. The city has said, can we work off of a list that everyone on it is qualified in all the areas so that they can start working on day one? At
Why is the
least to this
turnover
point,
so high?
at least the turnover is so high because there's too much overtime. There's too
Why is
much
there too much
overtime
overtime?
because the city is not allowed to hire people ready on day one
But
because
but
the
Joe,
union doesn't want it to.
Joe, I agree with a lot of this.
And why does the
But,
union not want it to?
hold
Let
on,
Jeff
I know
Joe,
speak.
why.
Joe. So the seven number. So this is just someone texted me. Um, they lost 13. I'm going to read this. I'm going to quote it. We lost 13 people in the last 2 years due to retirements, injuries, and people leaving for other departments. They're saying the math that we got, the overtime rate that I kind of mentioned last week, the 400 hours per fireman, if you multiply that by all the firemen, that will equal 7. That's what they're saying. Now, I don't know if that's true.
Right. Right.
So,
So the
so
point
the
is,
math, the
yes,
math
there may
mathematically,
be.
mathematically, if we had 7 more people, we'd have 0 overtime.
Right,
That's
but that's not
proving this.
creating that's not creating 7 new positions. That's filling positions we already have
That's
with
exactly what
people
we're
who are
saying, though.
ready to work
That's
day
where I think
one.
you guys
So
are
we
going
need
back and
an
forth.
additional shift to deal with churn.
No, we do
No, no,
not.
no. You
We
guys,
do not need an additional
those are
shift,
2
Pete.
separate issues.
That's 2 separate issues. No.
But that's what
What's
I'm
And
saying.
keep in mind,
You guys
when
are saying
you,
2
every
separate things. You guys
time
are confusing everybody.
something that has not been considered in any of this discussion, and I don't know where she came up with the $26 a day. I have tried every
That number I don't
mathematical,
understand either.
I've tried every piece of math I've ever learned, and there's no way that's possible. And I could
That,
spend a half
that ma-
hour telling you
what
why,
is the
but
number then?
here's a number for you. Every
I'm just
time you
asking you. You
hire,
brought it up.
here,
If it's not 26, how much is it?
no, it's a hell of a lot more, and here's why. Because every time you hire a firefighter, be, because of primarily because of the pensions, but also because of the salaries, that's an investment of $11 million. So when you create a new position, I'm not talking about filling the existing positions, but when you create a new position, that is $11 million that the city has to budget because you don't just budget for the upcoming year. You have to pay into the pensions. Okay. If you saw the audit report the other night at the
So are
council
we
meeting,
understaffed? You said yes. And now
we
the question
have
is, how understaffed
Pete,
are we?
but what's your definition of understaffed? If your definition of understaffed is we have
Understaffed
over,
is the
when I
firemen
do,
are complaining that they're overworked. Is that a fact? Yes or no?
yes, and there's
Okay.
solutions to it that, but Pete, the solution is not hiring a new shift. That is not the solution. The solution is filling the existing positions by changing the list that we go off of. And the roadblock to doing that right now is the firefighters union because they want, look, I've been negotiating with unions one way or the other for over 30 years, okay? The 2 things that every union does, and I get it. Look, it's a union's job.
Has
God
this
bless
issue
them.
been going on for 15 years? Yes or no?
I don't know. Why don't you ask Alderman Rummel and
I'm asking
Alderman
you.
Beidler, who are on the council?
I'm asking
Pete,
you.
when I was
Yeah,
in the
well,
union, it's an
the
ongoing,
solution has got.
always an ongoing issue.
Here's part of the problem.
How long has it been ongoing, Jeff?
No, but when I was a carpenters union, I'm saying there's always a thing to talk about. Is that part I
Well,
don't know the accuracy of the amount of years that is. If it was an issue for 15 years, it would have been loud 15 years ago. It would have been
yeah.
loud 10 years ago. It would have been loud 5 years
Okay.
ago.
Here's
I
what's
just
made
think
it a bigger issue today is
I'm not saying it
that
wasn't an issue. What I'm saying is I don't think it was a
so a
catastrophic
generation
issue.
ago, and this is not just firefighters. I see this with other public employees. I see this with private sector employees. That a generation ago, people fought for overtime. They wanted that overtime. They wanted that extra cash. The contracts were written to just how to assign the overtime because guys were fighting over it. People were fighting over it. It's somehow there's been a cultural change, and it is not just Lake Forest. It is not just firefighters. So I'm not trying to cast aspersions on anyone. There's a cultural change. I don't know if it started during the pandemic or whatever, and it's public sector, it's private sector.
It's
People don't
generational. It's
they
generational.
don't want to do overtime, and I get it. There's mental health issues, and we need to make sure we're covering mental
What's that
health. I
whole
think
work life balance thing going on?
work-life balance and stuff. So people
I
that
didn't
used
I
to
didn't
fight
have
over that now they're fighting. And so the way the contract is written, if people are fighting over the overtime to get it, it's assigned by seniority. If no one wants it, it is then given to the lowest. It's
the
assigned
newest guy. Yeah.
forcefully to the lowest ranked ones. So essentially, the union is eating its own. All right, that's what's happening here. The union leadership, and I'm not saying all the union members, but the union leadership is doing a
Right.
disservice to their members, in my opinion.
But
Of
I got to jump in for 1 second. And I hear you guys. I hear both sides. The amount of shortage. So the one thing we got to separate is short by retired slash injured slash guys that have left. So I think everyone recognizes there is a hole there, right? I mean, that guys have left, we got to replace them. So and that replacement rate is easily defined by the overtime hours put in by the current staff. So however many overtime hours are put in, if you had other guys working, then and there was 0 overtime, that means you're fully staffed, properly staffed. So that's there. That's a number that exists, right? I mean, Joe, would you agree with that?
Yeah, there is a problem right now with
Sure.
with filling existing headcount. There is
Yes.
not a
Right.
problem
Now, and
with
then this is the
creating new
thing.
headcount. We don't
Right.
need to create
Right. So these are
seven
two
or eight
separate
people that
issues.
are going to cost $11 million each.
So
You're
we
looking
just
at
have to
over
clarify.
$75 million in new expenditures if you
We
do
got to
that.
we got to clarify those two things, right? So we got to fill what we don't have, and then I think the union is requesting additional positions to be created on top of that. Okay, so those were the two issues. That was number one. Number two, and this is something I kept hammering down is it because young academy graduates don't want to come to Lake Forest? So I said this last week on the show 20 times, I think, Pete, and we never got an answer, right? Because none of us know the answer. But is it young cadets not wanting to come to Lake Forest, or is it the city not wanting to hire? I believe it's a cultural thing everywhere.
Well, what are
That
they telling you, Jeff? You talk to these people at the bar.
I
So,
talked to them too, and
I'll
I'll tell
tell
you
you,
what they
I'll
tell
give
me
you.
in
what
a
are they
minute.
saying?
So what the firemen have basically said is that the seven is what they need right away to fill the retirees, et cetera. We just talked about the injuries, the retirees, and the guys that have left. That's what they need on the seven. They are looking for more because they said that gets them back. This is their position, right? Is that gets them back to having the same staffing level they had in the 90s. Populations have grown since the 90s. So therefore, they think that they should have more firemen since the 90s. That's one of their positions. So
Calls don't reflect that, though.
what's that?
The number of calls doesn't reflect that.
I I I I,
Yeah, I know. I was
I
just saying.
you asked me what they said. I'm just
Yeah,
telling
yeah,
you
yeah,
what they
yeah.
said. Yeah. So that this is me telling you what they said. So part of their issue is yes, and I think the big thing is Joe hit the nail on the head. Is younger guys don't want to work overtime. Like when I was 20, you begged for overtime. When I was downtown in the Union, you wanted I want to stay late. I want to come in Saturday. Please let me come in Sunday for double time. That was just your mentality back then. And you know what? The guys that worked all the overtime made a bunch of money. That was just the culture. Now overtime's like, man, I got a fishing trip, so the younger guys, I think, and some of these older guys, they went through that 20 years ago, right? The guys that are 40 and up put in that time where they're like, hey, I want that overtime, and they did all that grinding and all that work. Now they're older and they don't want to do it. So now you got both age groups kind of being like, wait a minute,
Correct.
force those
And
young
what's
guys.
what's causing all this need for overtime is that we are not filling the existing vacancies as quickly as we can, as we
Right.
should, because of the list that the union is forcing the city to use through the existing
Well, I
contract.
will say this. I'm never gonna hate on the union. I think the
And
union.
and I'll tell you why they're doing it in a
Yeah.
minute. When I get a
No,
chance,
but
but
I mean, like I said, I was 18 years old. I joined a union. It turned me in from a boy to a man and gave me a head start on my life. I'm very grateful to the union. So they're doing exactly what they're trying to do is fight for the best deal for their members. That there's no
right. Well, that
secret
yes.
about
So
this.
they're fighting for the best deal for their members, but they're also trying to fight to have more members. Okay.
Sure,
They
of
want to
course. Why
create
not?
these 7 or 8 head counts because that's 7 or 8 more dues paying members that goes to their treasury that then
Maybe.
is I don't know what they spend. I'd love to see if we want to do transparency, I would love to
Right.
see the union's books of how they spend their money because I think it's fair in the public
And
interest
and
if they're trying to negotiate a
and,
contract because part of that money, I might add, Pete, part of that money that unions go to that caused the Janus versus AFSCME Supreme Court decision in 2018 that union membership is voluntary for public employees and you can opt out at optoutnow.com. Part of that money is going to political campaigns. The IAFF, which is the National Firefighters Union, has never endorsed a Republican presidential candidate. They've always endorsed Democrats. They endorsed Joe Biden. They endorsed Barack Obama. A couple times, like 2024, they stayed neutral. 2016, they stayed neutral. But when Trump ran against Biden, they endorsed Trump, they endorsed Biden. They endorsed Walter Mondale, Obama, Bill Clinton, you name it. So some of that money is going
Okay,
to political stuff. I don't know
but
how much at the local level goes to the national,
I want to
but
get
that's
back.
something people need to know is that the unions are fighting. The unions fight for two things: more money for their existing members so that the union leaders get reelected, because you see what happens when in unions that don't, they vote them out and pick somebody else. And then they fight to have more members so they can collect more dues for their war chest and things like that, because a portion of that is used for political campaigns.
Jeff, you were
So
saying?
But I want to fill you guys in the other things that they were saying, right?
Yeah.
So, so part of the problem, and this is not on the mayor or the city manager. But it's so part of this is old money. So they're saying that part of this pension downfall or whatever is from something that was created in the 90s and early 2000s. So that's part of the Lake Forest problem is they're paying money from stuff from 20 years ago, and that's why these guys are complaining and saying, "Hey, if that was all paid, if there wasn't that credit card bill out there, we'd have this money to invest." Because I brought up, I said, "Hey, you can't get a bond for labor." They're like, "Well, you can." I'm like, but then your AAA bond rating is
yeah,
gone.
the state did that, and how did that work out?
Right. And then I did ask, I said, are you guys looking for a referenda? Because I mean, how else, if it went to a fire district, you could only levy the maximum of either 499 or CPI, whatever. I said, You looking for a referenda? I said, I don't know how popular a referenda would be. We just went through that with the school district. But one thing is for certain, it's kind of like it's this terrible situation where it's almost no one's fault that's currently here. So problems that were created 20 years ago, the can got kicked down to the road and the can's in 2025. So this tier one, tier two thing, I asked about that too. So, and do you guys know about this tier one, tier two
No.
issue?
I do, but we probably should explain
Okay.
it.
So tier one, back in whatever, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, whenever you got hired, you put in 20 years and then you could retire. So some of these guys would retire technically at 45. They're fully vested in their pension, and then they go start either another pension or get another career and move on. Right now, they push that to, I believe, 53 years old. They're saying, in tier two, and then, but but some of the union members want to make everyone tier one. So it's this like tug of war. Will it happen? Pritzker would have to sign that into law, I believe. This is again what people have told me. So, uh, duly
That's so
noted.
adorable that you think he would.
Right. But so the thing is, at the end of the day, a lot these guys are let's just go over the facts. One, they're fighting for their contract. Every union member in any union across the entire country is going to fight for the best contract they can get, right? That's a no-brainer. So
Goes with the territory.
yeah, you can't I don't
I'm negotiated. I counted it. I was involved in the
if I'm a
negotiation of
fireman, I'm doing the same exact thing.
five CBAs, five collective bargaining agreements.
Two, I think the mayor and the city manager inherited old debt that's not their fault, right? So, and then three, the cost moving forward. So, how does everyone manage this? I think the big thing is number one, right away, our issue, I think, at least on this show, is the additional labor is the additional labor. That's a fight for the union and the city to have. I think the one thing we all have to focus on is if they're seven short by these man hours, overtime, and kids aren't wanting to work the overtime, that is something that has to be addressed. I mean, that's plain and
But
simple.
and I agree, it needs to be addressed. It is.
Right.
It is too much overtime. It clearly is
And
causing
it's not the city.
burnout
The city's probably like, come on
amongst
in and
people.
apply. We'll
The
hire you.
city wants to solve this problem. Now, like I said, this is all the union is trying to publicly negotiate a contract that they really should be negotiating at the bargaining table. Okay, I've done this enough over the years to know that when one side starts going public with everything, they're not negotiating in good faith. So my recommendation, and I've heard this from some of the rank and file guys in the union, that they're not happy that I think it's one or two guys that are in charge of the union. They're doing this publicly because it taints the negotiations. The city is very wise to not comment on this, and to let the negotiations play out. Now, the notion that we are in danger today, that there could be some horrific incident that people would die is nonsense, absolute nonsense. That is not the case. We have so many redundancies built into this system that, look, take the worst mass casualty event we've had in the area, which was the July 4th shooting in Highland Park, which is a horrible tragedy, and it was certainly horrible, but there was no impact on first responders in the sense that there were not other incidents in the area that weren't covered. There was so much backup and so much redundancy. They plan for these things. They have contingency plans. You name the possible event, they have contingencies to work that out. And there has never been, if you look at the community surveys that they've done, there's never the fire department always ranks the highest. And my gosh, don't you think that if there had been this poor service, that someone would have come to a city council meeting or someone would have filed a lawsuit saying my loved one died because it took too long? The response times, if you look at the response time numbers, we're right where we should be on response times for a city this big. The only way you could lower response times has nothing to do with number of employees. The only way you could lower response times is if you built a fire station in every
Hey, Joe,
ward,
where did
which I
this
don't think
story
anyone
come
is
from?
suggesting.
Why are we even talking about this?
Because the union is posturing
All right, so the
for
union,
the negotiation.
that's your
And
contention.
they
Okay.
got to Amy. However they got to Amy, I don't know. But my question to Amy, I wish I could have been there, and it's on me that I couldn't have been here last week. But my question to Amy, she lives in Lake Bluff. Okay. And I'm going to take, I don't know why she's so concerned about Lake Forest, but I'm going to take it at face value of what she's saying, that she's concerned about fire safety and public safety. She should go to her, it's not a city council, it's a village board. She should go to her village board and ask them why they have a volunteer fire department.
Number one, we're
Yeah,
understaffed. Number
separate
two,
you.
is there a culture that, hey, you can't complain about this stuff, or you can't make an issue that you're understaffed?
No, I think that
Okay,
culture,
that's it.
it's
That's all I need to
it's
know.
a fair question to ask. Look, anyone's
That's why I
entitled to
asked it.
know, but they're not giving all the facts, Pete. Did they tell Amy that the city offered solutions and that they won't accept it because they simply want more dues paying members? No. But I would urge Amy to take an interest in her local government there, and go to their village board meetings, and ask them why they still have a fire department model based from 1893, I think it is, of a volunteer fire department. And they need us to come, and anytime there's more than a trash can fire, we have to send
Are you
our guys
questioning
up
Amy's
there to put
motives?
out the fire.
Are you
No,
questioning Amy's
no, I
motives?
don't. I don't question Amy's motive.
What is your issue with Amy?
My issue with Amy is that she's a Lake Bluff resident telling Lake Forest residents they need to raise their taxes when her own community has a far more unsafe condition right now with their fire situation. Here's the long-term solution, by the way, Pete. And I think if you talk to the leaders of Lake Forest and some other communities, they would agree with
Okay.
this, is the
Love to have them
long-term
all on.
solution. The long-term solution to this problem is to create a fire protection district for Lake Forest, Lake Bluff, Knollwood, Libertyville. You could throw in Mattawa. I don't know the exact boundaries of that.
Aren't we taking
But
care of too many
but
districts?
Whoa,
Pete,
whoa,
no,
whoa.
Pete. In this
I
case,
think it's
here's
Jeff.
why.
Jeff.
Here's why, Pete. Here's the problem. Everyone wants to do it except for one town, Lake Bluff. Lake Bluff prides itself on this volunteer fire department, and I'm sure the people working there are fine people, the volunteers,
Duly
many of
noted.
whom, by the way, many of them are off-duty Lake Forest firefighters. So when they talk about that they need more days for mental health breaks, I can appreciate that until I find out they're doing other fire department
Joe, you
work.
got to let me jump in and rebuttal that fire district thing for 2 seconds, though.
Sure.
All right. So a fire district, right? As we know, because I live in Knollwood, we have a fire district. Libertyville, all is a fire district, and then the city basically contracts back with the fire district. It will add another tax line
Sure.
on your tax bill.
But it will take taxes out of Lake Forest
When
Lake Bluff.
when in the history of ever have you ever heard anyone say, listen, we're gonna add a tax line on your tax bill, but don't worry, we're gonna
Here's
knock some
here's the
we're gonna knock
I hear
some
you on that. But
shit off
here's
over here. When has that happened?
fair
Give me that
fair
example.
point, Jeff. But here's my point. We are basically we have a better intergovernmental agreement today with Lake Bluff than we used to, but we are still subsidizing Lake Bluff. Okay, so if you want to take a hard line on this and totally quickly solve this problem, let's quit serving Lake Bluff. Let Lake Bluff figure their own problems out. Have Amy go to her
I,
village board
I did
meetings
I did
and
bring that
ask
up
them
last week.
why they have
I
such a
said,
crappy setup right now.
well, no, so Lake Forest has the ambulatory contract with Lake
Right,
Bluff.
which
They've had
adds
it for
calls.
they've had it for a long time. This was part of the no. Now I am assuming Lake Forest does subsidize somewhat to Lake Bluff.
They do.
Right. Okay. I mean, we have this thing called Arden Shore North and South. There that we just dealt with Shields. They have their own fire. They have their own fire districts. A neighborhood of 15 has
Yeah, those are silly. That's ridiculous. I agree.
and then
That's
they
terrible.
contract back with Lake Bluff for like a
But
pack
there's a
of Skittles and
countryside.
like $50 a year.
So there is a model similar to that with countryside with Vernon Hills and Mundelein, and I can't remember the other cities. But I think if Lake Forest, Lake Bluff, Libertyville,
But here's another
your
problem.
your you
Let me
your
throw in.
neighborhood there in
Let me
Knollwood, I
throw
think,
in.
in Mattawa, if we pull our
Oh
resources
gosh,
together,
Joe,
what?
hold on though. This you're going to create another taxing body with another taxing board. Guess what that means though. You know who's going to be on it? It's
For
usually
Lake Forest, it'll be a good deal.
well, it's usually a 3 or 5 person board.
Lake Bluff is not paying
Wait a
their
minute.
way right now,
It's
so
a
it's
three
probably
or
not a
five
good deal
person
for them.
board that will run for elections or appointed depending on how this
I
thing
think
is
it would be.
set up.
I think you could appoint it and do it
I
that way. I
know
wouldn't want
this
more
happened.
elections, but
This happened in Norwood. It was appointed by the
well,
county.
Knollwood was a joke.
Wait a minute. Hold
No
on.
offense, but Knollwood was a
These
joke.
fire
You let the
districts
guy
typically,
finish.
yeah, Joe, Jesus. Usually these fire districts get appointed by the county chair. Do you want the county chair appointing these people?
Of course
Number
not.
one. Number
You
two,
don't have to do it that way.
wait a minute. Well, yes, you do if it's appointed. If otherwise, you're going to run elections. Now you're talking about running an election across Libertyville, Metawa,
Metallo.
Lake Forest, Lake Bluff, right? Rockland Fire Protection District as well. So you're going to run three. There's going to be a very contentious
Well,
election.
like I said, there's a
Another
lot you'd
tax
have
line.
to work out. I think there's ways you can do it through an IGA and not have to do
You know
it
what I
that
mean?
way.
To me, you know,
But Jeff,
yes.
and you're those are all very fair points, Jeff. But like I said, here in Lake Forest, we're subsidizing fire service for Lake Bluff because they won't set up a full-time fire department. Okay.
What if they like
And
merge the fire
Amy
department?
should be. I'm far more worried. If I wouldn't want to live in Lake Bluff with the setup they have now, quite honestly, because I don't think it's safe that you have to wait for somebody from Lake Forest or Libertyville to come do anything.
Oh, they have fire, Joe. They have fire engines in Lake Bluff.
Yeah, but anytime there's more than a trash can fire, Lake Forest has to go put it out. Come on.
That is not true. Okay, now you're discounting these guys. Okay,
No, they're good guys.
I'm
Most
with
of them
you.
are
Listen,
off-duty Lake
I'm with you
Forest
on some
guys.
of
I
this.
get it.
I've been a proponent for a year that, and I'm going to throw the police in on this too. Public safety and to me, Lake Forest and Lake Bluff is one big community. I know we're going to chop it up on this, but really, it would make so much sense to have one police department and one fire department. Call me crazy. I don't know. It just makes so much sense.
I just think we're subsidizing
But
Lake Bluff, and
sure,
I find it curious that a Lake Bluff
you know how
resident
IGAs
wouldn't know
work?
that.
And with IGAs, someone's always subsidizing someone else. That's how
Right.
Why
Well,
are you,
and
do you have
someone
hostility
always wins
towards
and someone
Amy,
always
Joe?
loses.
no,
Joe,
I'm just saying if she
what's
would,
your problem with Amy again?
I have to
Who cares
wonder
about
why
that?
someone who lives in Lake Bluff is so concerned about Lake Forest when the fire service in her own town
Yeah, but are the
is
facts?
worse.
But Lake
Thank
Bluff,
God
hold
she
on.
brought
The
up
Let's
facts
the
are
facts,
not all
Joe.
correct either.
let me
The
let me. I
26
have to correct this because you guys said some crazy stuff about Lake Bluff.
26 bucks is
Lake Bluff has its own
ridiculous.
firehouse, just so everyone knows.
Yeah.
They have multiple engines staged inside that firehouse.
Okay.
The guys are paid on premise. That means that they stay there all night. They're not like getting, the phones
I
aren't ringing at
understand.
home and they're waking up and going. There's guys at the station that are running the rigs. They also have multiple people that do come. You'll see Greg in his little red pickup truck every time there's anything, and Greg's out there too. So like they have a whole system going. So they do have fire service in Lake Bluff. I don't want anyone
They have
thinking
the fireman's ball, which apparently is why they need to keep the
they
setup.
do.
But
Joe, this has been part of a culture for a long time, and no
right,
one
well, but we're
disrespectful.
subsidizing that culture here in Lake Forest, and we're
Well,
being
wait
asked
a
by
minute,
people
hold on.
from Lake Bluff to raise our taxes to pay for it.
But the way you said it might be subsidized, but you're subsidizing it in a different way than you think.
Right.
It's
But and that's a long
But
and
hold
that's a
on, it's
long
not the
term.
trash can on fire. It is not structure fire. Anytime there's just so everyone knows, I want to clear this up. Anytime there's a structure fire anywhere, multiple towns are all going to pile in. So that is not really how Lake Forest is
Maybe if
subsidized.
they were all one fire department, that
Well,
would work more
I don't
efficiently.
disagree with that, but here's the one. I actually think that is the future for both Lake Bluff, fire and police is in Lake Forest. Lake Bluff, fire and police is all to be one happy family. I think that makes so much sense. It's ridiculous that
Kumbaya.
it's
Right. Well, and
But
the challenge
they're
with like
subsidizing
so
through ambulances. That's how. Okay, so it's the
You,
coverage.
Jeff,
That's
you
how
brought up
this.
the keyword ambulance because where we're at right now, the population in Lake Forest is roughly what, 20,000. It hasn't really changed much over time. The birth rate hasn't really increased. We've had some new families moving in. Do we need more people to keep an eye on us for the fire or for the ambulances
It's one
the button
department though.
pusher?
That's where everyone's getting so confused. It's one
Yeah.
department. It's the same people. Firefighters are
we
the
need to fill the positions that are vacant, and then we'll be
yes.
fine.
That's I agree.
Fill the vacant positions. Now,
Right.
long term, like I said, the long term challenge that I talked about is based on the fact that nationally, fewer people are going into firefighting as a career than they used to. Okay, that is not a Lake Forest problem. That is not an Illinois problem. That is a nationwide problem, maybe even a worldwide problem for all I know. Is that fewer? So you have to, and this equipment is becoming much more expensive. These trucks, you buy these huge trucks
Oh, it's
for
expensive,
events that
man.
happen once or twice a year. That is where economy of scale can pull those resources together in a way that doesn't compromise
Wait, are you
safety, but
plugging? Are you saying, I just want to understand, you're pushing for a fire district across Lake Forest, Lake Bluff,
I
Meadow?
think it's something to look at and study. I think it really is.
Well, why not
But
just put
I've been
county in
told
that?
the obstacle. I've been told the obstacle to it is Lake Bluff. Lake Bluff is like, nope, don't want it. We like our setup just fine,
But you think
and
I'm
that
just
would be
curious
fine
that
if
you
we
think,
weren't subsidizing their service. We
but
are.
you think, but hold on one second. Most when you think of Lake Bluff, okay, Lake Bluff is really everything out of their fire district is basically Green Bay Road East, right? And then I'm sorry, and then like Target and that whole area, all those businesses. Okay, so the west side of Lake Bluff is that, but like Knollwood and all that is Rockland Fire Protection District, just so everyone knows. And the sanctuary is in Rockland Fire Protection District. But anyways, so back to what you were saying is, do you really think though that people would want another tax line on their
Of
tax?
course not. I don't. But I think I think
Because
there are
that'll
ways.
be
Number one,
just it'll be
but
hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
I think there's ways we can study this. That one, it may not necessarily have to be another tax line, but number two,
How to
that the taxes for Lake Forest would actually go down because we are subsidizing communities right now, and they're not paying their fair share. Yeah, if I lived in Lake Bluff, I'd probably say no. Let me just mooch off of Lake Forest.
Joe though,
But
as a fiscal conservative you are,
I,
that is
of
not
course,
true.
I
That,
agree.
that
I
is the
agree.
most
That gives me
untrue thing you've ever said
trepidation.
in your life.
That does give
A
me
new
trepidation.
tax will make an old tax go down. That is not true.
You
Stop that.
can if you abate the
Joe,
part of your levy that is for fire. Yeah,
Joe,
you can do it.
stop
But
that.
I-
That is
you
madness.
can.
That is
But you
complete
can.
madness.
But Jeff, here that's the long-term thing. Here's the short-term thing.
All
We are
right, bring me the
going
short
into,
term.
and
It
this
might
is
make
what
more sense.
Pete, you need to understand. The fire union is playing you. Okay? They are playing you.
Everybody's
Um,
playing me, huh?
well, yeah, they are. They're the latest. Okay? So they're playing you. They're playing Amy. I mean, to be quite honest with you, in my opinion, and they're playing their own members.
Okay.
It's that's the far worst part. Is
All
they're
right.
doing a disservice to their own members. We need to if we just fill the positions we have, the overtime problem goes away. But meantime, there's no threat to calls. There's no threat. If you call 911, you're going to get a response in the right amount of time. Okay.
All
The
right,
only
Mary
thing that
Grace.
would shorten that time is if you built a fire station in every ward, and no one's talking about that.
All right, let's move on to the next thing. Since I have, would you say I have TDS, tax derangement syndrome, Joe?
Yeah, you
Uh,
do. If Randy's for something, you're against it. If Randy's against something, you're
well,
for it. I mean, it's just
if you're a business that had to
prove
deal
me
with,
wrong.
well, okay, I'm just saying optics wise, your business on Deer Path and your business has been crushed over months.
And,
Then it finally gets opened up, and the first picture you see is the mayor in an expensive convertible saying, "Hey, the road's open."
most people
I,
in the city own expensive cars, Pete.
okay.
You should know you own one of
No,
the
but
most
Pete, then
expensive ones.
if Randy didn't do that,
Your
Pete would be
Tesla's
like,
far more
"Hey,
expensive than that
the
car.
road open and Randy won't even drive down the road. Look at this guy just sitting at home,
Yeah.
refusing to drive down Deer Path."
I
You
know. This
that
is silly. Who
Come on.
cares? Who cares about this is a good
Because it's
project.
more than one viewpoint besides your
It came
show.
in on time, Pete. The project Scoo said it wouldn't come in on time. It came in on time.
It did come in October 31st, right?
Yeah.
So you're
See?
telling me,
Hello.
hey,
That
Joe,
was
if
that
you
was
can
some
put
daily type stuff. You know what I
if you
mean?
can
They're
put
like,
your if you can put yourself in the shoes of a business on Deer Path, you don't think they're pissed about that?
I don't think they care. I mean, maybe
Okay.
you can find someone who does because you've egged them on. But
Oh, okay.
I think this is a silly debate of what car he drives and all that. Like I said, I bet your car is more expensive than his car, your Tesla
I'm
Cybertruck.
not the
So
mayor,
why
and I'm
didn't you
not
drive it? Why didn't you drive it down there? Why didn't you go around
I'm not the mayor of Lake
wait, what's the
Forest,
issue with the
Joe.
car? I missed the car issue. What happened with the car?
you tell him, Pete, because I think this is a waste of oxygen, but go ahead.
I know, Joe, but you know what? There's more than
Who
one viewpoint.
cares?
Who
Means
cares?
nothing,
Wait, what did I
Pete.
miss? What happened with the car?
Hey,
This is so
Joe, do I gotta
silly.
mute you? Like, there's more than one viewpoint than yours, sir.
Right, but there's more than one
But I
viewpoint
missed it.
than yours.
What
I,
did he park?
I,
Did he park in the wrong direction? What
I,
happened?
hold on. Let's get something straight. Where do my viewpoints come from, Joe?
From sounds like from Grok. So just kidding.
No, I'm being serious.
No, they come from you. I
Where do I
hope they
get my
come from you.
viewpoint?
I think that
Why,
I
why, why do I bring different people on this show? Why do I bring
sure.
Susan
That's
Garrett on this
great. That's
show?
fine.
I
That's
want
fine.
all the different
I'll talk to
viewpoints that are
Susan
out there.
anytime. I
I
still want
don't
to know what the
like an
pension
echo
goes.
chamber. I know you like an echo chamber.
I
I don't.
don't. That's fake news. I
Okay.
love talking to other people
Okay.
with different opinions.
You no, you like
I don't
talking
block
over
people.
people.
I don't do any of
All
that.
right, you guys,
So Jeff, the issue is
what
the
happened with
businesses have been shut down for a long time and they've
right?
been hurt.
Sure.
And the first picture that they're announcing the opening of Deer Path, and you got the mayor in a fancy sports car saying, "Hey, it's open. Follow me." That's all.
Oh, okay. You're saying that was done in bad taste. That's what you're saying. I listen. I would disagree that is done in bad taste. I think it's just you know what though. I will say this about Randy. He's out there. Yeah. I grew up around here. I mean, I knew a couple of the mayors a little bit, but you always see Randy out there. So that's good news. And then there's also guys that live on
I'm
Lake
not the
that
mayor, my
drive
friend.
99
And
F-150.
you never will be, my
All
friend.
30
Sorry.
And you probably will the way that you
No,
speak
I will
on the
not. I will
show.
not be the mayor of Lake Forest. I can tell you that one. That's never going to happen, pal. There's a
Okay,
long,
well,
Not
there's
on
a
the
list.
Spire
fine.
Wait,
District issue, you're not.
how many residents are there in Lake Forest? 16,000, 20, whatever that
No,
number
it's
is.
way higher than that. Way
Okay,
higher.
whatever that number is, that's the number of people
Households.
ahead of me on the list
I think it's
to become
pushing
mayor of Lake
30,000.
Forest.
I think it's pushing 30,000.
I think the voter count is 18,000.
Yeah,
And that was the other thing. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but
16,000, but who's
that
counting?
children
26
are residents too,
that
Joe.
26 bucks. By the way, the point on the 26
Oh,
bucks
the
that Amy was
26 bucks
saying,
was kind of crazy.
if that was true, if that truly was the number, they would have done that
Why are
already.
we going back to that?
We could have put 26 bucks in a cola increase, no problem.
We should do math. Well, I'll tell you why, Pete. You did put it as one of the headlines, $26.
You did.
But
Okay, what is the number then?
no, but
$11 million per
26
additional
times
head count.
10,000 is 260,000.
So what if it's 11 million? It's okay to be understaffed, but we can go
We're
by
not.
things?
We're not understaffed if we fill the
We
existing
don't have to go back
positions.
into it. I was just saying the math was
You
wrong.
you
We're
guys
not
brought it up.
understaffed. You brought it up in the first place. You're the one that brought the whole issue up.
I did, I think. That was me.
Well, yeah, but Pete's the one that put it on steroids
I threw the grenade to this podcast. I was like,
and put up headlines that
What
are
are you
not
so
correct.
scared of?
I was
Who?
tired of talking about vigils. I wanted to talk about something crazy.
Look, man, this show is like we're showing up at the bar talking about what's going on in town.
All right,
And
but
stuff is
like I
going
said,
on, Joe.
I would urge Amy. I'd love to have a conversation with her here,
Duly
but
noted.
I would
Call
urge
her
her to
up,
go to the
email
lake.
her.
I would urge her to go to the Lake Bluff village board meeting and ask them why they have the
Go
setup they
email
do.
her that. So Jeff, what else? Okay, that's no. So that was the picture. Deer path is open. That's great. I don't understand why the little tree, little things that are in the like breaking up the street. Maybe I'll go back to the city
They're
council.
everywhere, Pete, though. Like, I mean, that's just the way towns have designed it now. I mean, you go anywhere.
Yeah,
Doesn't
Even
that take up
Main
parking
Street.
spots though?
even Route 60 has it now. I mean, they
Wait,
have like,
hold on. When you put the tree there, does that take?
It took one parking spot away, but it
I can't
actually
I
made
can't park
but
on
it made the
2nd
intersection more
anyway.
safe.
So,
But it wasn't just a decorative thing. It made the intersection more safe, actually. So,
I'm not
um,
allowed to park anywhere in Lake Forest anymore. So.
yeah, I've heard your problems. Well, you drive a big ass truck, so that's why. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I gotta go park at the
look,
beach.
I think it looks great. I think look, it's anytime you have construction, it impacts businesses. But the businesses are going to grow. Their value is going to grow now with this beautiful downtown. There's a grand opening ceremony, or I don't know if it's a ribbon cutting, whatever you want to call it, this Saturday at I think it's 10 a.m. Where they cut the ribbon or
It's
something, and
maintenance. You got to do the maintenance. I mean,
yeah, you
listen,
got to do maintenance. That's the other thing. And
Pete,
here's the
if you
thing:
don't
we
take
put
care of a room in
off.
your house and it looks like it's from 1963, and you ever tried to sell that house or tell
I
someone
think we've all learned the
the crap,
cost of putting
gotta do the
off.
maintenance.
We've all learned the hard way the last few weeks the cost of keeping old water mains and gas mains. And you can't replace them all at once. There's no amount of money that could pay for all that. You'd have to multiply
Probably
our
26
taxes.
bucks a day, Joe.
If it only was so easy. So this cleared up a lot of the. I can't believe a city like Lake Forest waited 100 years to get old gas lines out and old water mains out and stuff like that. But we finally did, and we did it right. And thankfully, we didn't pay the full cost of it. And we did pay because we all are state taxpayers. But we're paying all these taxes because JB Pritzker and Julie Morrison
Are taxes
voted to.
going up another $1,000 for the police station? Did I see that?
No, you didn't see
For a
that.
household, I saw another thousand
No,
bucks.
there's a cost of living increase
No,
for our taxes,
anytime your
which is
taxes
within
go
the
up like
tax
that, there would have
cap.
to be a
But no,
referendum. They can't levy more than they can levy. I mean,
we have a self-imposed municipal governments are exempt from the tax cap. However, we have voluntarily passed a self-imposed tax cap. We put it on ourselves, which is unheard of in local government. And
We can change it whenever we
that's
want.
why
It's
we
like
have the
printing
lowest
money.
property tax rate in Lake County.
What's
So
stopping it from changing to 4%? We can do whatever we want.
no, you could, but you'd have to have a public discussion of it. It would all be out in the open. But and if the state keeps putting unfunded mandates on local government, you may have to do that. Who knows? And not paying for them. So talk to Senator Morrison and Representative Morgan and Governor Pritzker about that one. But
Somebody's got some
um,
derangement going here. Jeff, what else you got?
well, what else? I don't know. I don't have a whole lot.
Well, I'm just talking about what people are reaching out to me and talking
I
about
just want
to
I just
me.
want to
hey,
finish up
I
the
had
fire.
I do want to
I
point
want
something out on the headquarter on the station business because there was this talk. Well,
yeah.
and Jeff, I think you explained it pretty well. You missed a couple points, but you did a good overall great job of explaining you
Thank you.
can't use building funds to
Pass
pay
fail.
for salaries.
Right.
But
I do
and
put
the
pepperoni
idea
on cheese.
the issue with building a new fire station isn't. And I think it's kind of demeaning, just as it's demeaning to say cops are hanging out in Dunkin' Donuts, it's
They
also
are.
demeaning to say that firefighters just want a bigger recliner.
They do.
Okay, it's not true.
It's totally true.
But okay, those are your words, not mine. But
Beach
here's
Hansen
the
said
thing:
it.
the new station will accommodate will do more will do some other things. The new station will do some other things, and that is
What's
number
your
one.
point?
My point is, it will give more training opportunities so we have an even better trained fire department and EMS because training is an important part of this job. Number two, when that station was built, we didn't have any female firefighters. We do now. And it's not just about a locker room because you could figure out somewhere to put a locker room. It is about because these guys they're in there 24 hours. they don't sit at desks, okay? They do have a relaxing time, as well deserved, because you don't want a sleepy firefighter. So they do have relaxing time, and because we
Especially if
have
they're
female
working
fire,
12,000 hours of OT.
we don't want the female firefighters, I have been told, would like a separate um, room, because the quarters as they are now are uncomfortable, to have men and women um, essentially sleeping in the same place. So that's something that the new station will accomplish. And before you go off on some DEI tangent, Pete, all of our female firefighters met the same qualifications as our male firefighters. No one is hired because of gender.
Well
So
said,
this
Joe.
is what?
Well said.
Well, because I know you look, and I'm against
I know
true
you.
DEI. I've
You have
seen
a
true DEI.
teleprompter?
Nope.
Okay.
I've seen true DEI hiring in other places, and it's bad. So I'm totally with you
But
that hiring
one thing,
somebody because of their gender or their race is a
I
bad
can see
thing.
your eyes going
That's
down the teleprompter.
one thing we could agree
Vote
on though
Reagan.
on this,
there
and
ain't
we
no
can move on to this
teleprompter here, bud.
fireman thing, and then we can move
If there
on to
was, I'd be doing this a lot better.
Please.
So the last thing, Joe, I think like me and you are on the same page. There's two issues, and they got blended last week, and I think that was the confusing part. So just so everyone knows, the short staffness is becoming from retirees, injuries, and people that left. Everyone wants those people hired on up and down, and it's good that that was brought to everyone's attention because that needs to happen ASAP. As far as additional people, that is something that the union and the city are going to negotiate out in their contract for the future. But the dire need of firemen was something that I think they wanted to bring to light, and I think you guys brought it to light with the show, and you guys got it out everywhere. And
Joe
kudos.
says there is no dire need, though.
Well, no, the dire need was the
Fill the existing positions.
to fill the existing positions that are currently not filled. That's
And
what
the assumption is these positions, this is like a current thing. This hasn't been going on for a decade or so, right?
But this overtime, the use of this
Answer the
overtime,
question. I just want to know,
I'm
this is a
short-staffed
short-term
in
issue?
June, and then I'm
I don't
full-staffed
know,
back.
but if it had been, don't you think all of these people that have been running against the caucus would have brought it up before
Nobody
now?
heard about this issue.
Well, because you know why? Because it really wasn't an issue.
Okay.
That's why.
So is it an issue or not
It's
an issue?
become you know why it became an issue? Because there's a contract negotiation coming
Okay.
up in a couple of months, and the union leadership is trying to negotiate a contract on Facebook and on podcasts, and that's not a good way to do it.
And
You're
you're
not bargaining in good
100%.
faith.
So some other things coming up in town, just so we
Go.
know.
Thank you, Jeff. Go.
Yes. Kudos to Scouts football. They didn't make the playoffs
Yeah.
there, but they did put a hell of a fight out there. So kudos to those boys. Hockey
Those
team
Scouts.
is on fire. They keep on.
Coach Steve.
Yep, they just keep in racking in those W's. So we got to keep our eyes on those boys. They're just killing it out there. The tree lighting's coming up in a couple of weeks. Black Wednesday. I have to make sure I say that term very clearly. Because I used another
I thought
word.
it was called
Duly
Blackout
noted.
Wednesday.
No, do not say that. So that is, I got like death threats over that. No, it is not.
Yeah,
called
no, I
that.
get it.
It's
I get it.
just Black Wednesday. And the reason why it's called black is because all businesses make a bunch of money that day. They're in the black. So it is called black.
So it's not getting wasted on Wednesday night.
I don't even know what
Okay.
that is. Nope, never heard of it. But it is a very popular day. And then that Friday is Bears and Hawks on Black Friday, which everyone's fine with calling it Black
And
Friday.
that's the tree lighting day, right?
And the tree lighting day. So all these things are coming up like literally within a couple of weeks. I would just encourage everyone in Lake Forest, make your plans because those days always become total chaos. So everyone
Yeah.
just shows up everywhere and there's nowhere to go and it's just chaos.
Yeah, I had to go to Lake Bluff after the tree lighting ceremony because everything was packed in Lake Forest. So I guess I helped fund their fire department. Oh, wait, they don't have a fire department.
They do. So Lake Bluff, just so everyone knows, just don't listen to Joe.
I'm sure the guys there are great.
It's
most
not
of the
just
guys
guys.
there
They
are.
Listen
have
to
a
Joe,
firehouse.
don't listen
They
to
have
Pete.
fire engines. They have
Yeah, and they have Lake Forest firefighters working on their off days.
They have a
that
bouncy
need mental
house.
health breaks.
They have
They're great for street parties.
they have a legitimate
Turn
fire
the lights on the
department.
fire truck.
That's
Okay.
and they raise money a different way. It's a cultural thing. It is
Yeah, it is a
totally
cultural
safe. You're
thing. You're
safe
right.
in your house. Stop saying that, Joe. All right. Other than that, everything
They don't
else.
even have fire hydrants, by the way.
Who doesn't have fire hydrants?
Like, are there parts of Lake Bluff that don't have fire
Shore
hydrants?
Acres doesn't because it's so old. So
Okay,
Shore
all
Acres
right,
doesn't
fair
have fire
enough.
hydrants, so they have to run like 10,000
A real
feet.
estate agent told me that. Said, don't buy in Lake Bluff. They don't have fire
Yeah, there's part. I mean,
hydrants.
is every part of Lake Forest have them? I don't know. I haven't
In
driven down.
search of the truth, somebody's got to
I'm
be
just
right here.
asking. I'm just asking the question.
You can't just
So
do that.
Hey, Lake
somebody,
Bluff firefighters, I love you, but you, and some of them have told people that I know that
yeah.
this setup isn't a good one. By the way, some of their own firefighters have.
Wait, what?
He's doing a hearsay telephone game. I don't buy it.
We all got sources out there, right?
Okay, great. This would have been great to talk about like
The
50
whole the
minutes
whole
ago
the whole show last week was
when
hearsay,
you were
but
being the
that's all
show
right.
for the city. City can
I'm
do no
not.
wrong.
Pete, here. If the city does something, the city, first of all, I have disagreed with the city
Okay.
on things. Okay?
Too bad
And
we're
I
out
will
of time.
again. I will again.
Get
The
the
tree,
internet's going.
the menorah. I think the menorah should be there the full night, every night of Hanukkah. The city policy.
Oh,
is
I thought you were
different.
going to I was like, what do you think? No,
I disagree.
all
I
religions
think,
are welcome.
but I don't think anyone at the city's anti-Semitic. I think they're just following a policy.
Joe Weiss is anti-Lake Forest.
No, come on. Look,
Everybody, have a great weekend. My internet's going by.
lowest.
The Lake Forest Podcast is supported by viewers, listeners, and businesses just like you. Michelle Parno has lived and worked in Lake Forest for over 2 decades. Michelle's lending experience, when combined with her real estate expertise, makes her an invaluable asset to her clients as they navigate their home buying or selling process. Call Michelle now at 847-528-8721, 847-528-8721. For the best cannabis in the world, look no further than Iliad Epic Grow. Owned by Lake Bluff's own Rich Ruzich, they are a cannabis cultivation center focusing on hard-to-find small batch products that will delight both the occasional user and ganjier. When visiting Michigan, ask for it by name. Epic Products, exceptional process. For more information, email info@iliadgrow.com. Laracy & Company CPAs, founded in 2010 by Lake Forest's own Brian Laracy, specializes in tax preparation and bookkeeping services. Earning the People Love Us on Yelp award, their process is straightforward. Just upload, review, and file. For a free quote, visit LaracyCPA.com now. That's LARISEYCPA.com. I'm excited to share with you something special from our Lake Forest community, the Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa, located at 775 North Bank Lane in Lake Forest near Wisconsin Avenue. This just isn't any spa. They offer an amazing blend of traditional spa services plus the added benefit of medical procedures and treatments. In a relaxing and luxurious spa environment, you can enjoy a range of cosmetic and aesthetic treatments. These are all performed under the supervision of top medical professionals. The Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa provides skin care, facial rejuvenation, body contouring, laser hair removal, Botox, dermal fillers, chemical peels, and much more. What's great is that each treatment is tailored not just to enhance your appearance, but also to address specific skin concerns and to promote overall well-being. So if you're looking to pamper yourself and take your beauty routine to the next level, give the Aesthetic Lounge Med Spa a call at 224-768-8028 or visit them at their location on North Bank Lane. It's an experience your skin will thank you for. We'd also like to say we're thankful for our Patreon supporters, Otto, John C., Helen, Herrick, JM, and Paul G.